Hi, I'm Jeff Gunn, and I'm very excited to be back here at Guitar World. This song is called Beginnings. Today we're going to be talking about triads. Now, a triad, as the name implies, is a root third and fifth of a chord. For example, C major, it would have C, E, and G. Now, the cool thing about triads is that you can play them in a variety of ways. So I can play a basic root position one here. I could take the E, G, and the C, play it here. I could also take the G, C, and E and play it up here. Or I could play the C, E, and G again up here, up the octave. And that's just using 3 strings. Now, the cool thing about triads is that they're the foundation of chords. And I don't think we always give enough attention to how we can use them in really creative ways in our playing, in our leads, and also as solo guitar players. Now, when you're practicing through these different triads, rather than just simply going like this and that, basically what you want to do is you want to add some rhythms. So what I do, or what I have done in the past, is basically, you take the different inversions of the triad, and you might want to add some rhythm like this. to make it more interesting. Now the same can be played on the lower 3 strings, on the 6th string, the 5th, and the 4th, like so. Okay, and using the 4th string, the 3rd, and the 2nd, I have my C here, C there, I have my C there, and my C back here. I can also do really cool licks around these different triads when I'm using the 4th string, the 3rd, and the 2nd, like so. The top 3 strings, using the 1st string, the 2nd, and the 3rd. I have a C chord here. I also have my C triad here, and my C triad here, and then up the octave. And I can move between those different voices. In other words, if I have just a C chord that I'm playing with, instead of just playing my standard C like that, I have all these different options across the fretboard. For example, I could play C like this. Like so. Now, how do we actually use that in songs? Well, one song that uses it that I'm sure you're all familiar with is Stairway to Heaven, when it goes to the part that goes like this. Okay, that's just using triads. Also, you can do really cool lead stuff when you're soloing, things like this. And little variations like that. That's all triads, basically. Now this also applies not only to triads, but in the 7th chord family. For example, if I have an E minor 7, I can go through all the different inversions of that chord, which I suggest you look up and check out, like root position, 3rd inversion, 1st inversion, 2nd inversion, and then back to 3rd inversion, and back to root. Now, rather than simply learning these different inversions and playing through them, I like to add a lot of different rhythms and actually think of it almost as a song pattern. So an example I could give you is this here. And you can see how you can create really cool ideas just based around all those different inversions of the chord. Not only in triads, but that's an example of the 7th chord family. Now let's go back to a really traditional progression, like a C to an F, to a D minor, and to a G. And I'm going to see how we can rearrange this using triads on the lower 6th, 5th, and 4th string, and the 5th, 4th, and 3rd string, and how you can really think about different ways of taking standard progressions and really making them quite interesting on the guitar. So I'm going to play it in a standard way first, like this. Now, if I take those same chords, the C, why not I try playing it using a triad inversion? So in other words, I'll play it here using the 6th string, 5th, and 4th, like so. Here I have the G, the C, and the E. The same 3 notes that make up the chord, but arranged in a different way. Now when I go to the F chord, instead of playing it here, why not play it using these 3 strings here? The 5th string, the 4th, and the 3rd. And then when I go to the D minor, I'll go back to the 6th string, the 5th string, and the 4th string, and I'll play it like this. And then for the G, I'll go back to the 5th, 4th, and 3rd string again and use these 3 notes here. So I could play it like this. And you hear how it sounds different. There's a different tone and a different atmosphere that's created by using it that way. Okay? Likewise, instead of when you practice through these things, yes, you want to skip different sets of strings. But also, why not think horizontally how you can play all these same chord progressions using the same set of strings, in this case the 6th, the 5th, and the 4th, moving horizontally up the neck and then back. And I'll give you an example. Here's your C here, which is a C/G or a C in 2nd inversion. Then I go up to the F, which is the F in 2nd inversion. And then I go to the D minor. And then I could go back to the G, which is basically the bottom part of the standard G chords. It would sound like this. Or I could play it like this. I'm actually, this time, going to double the G, and I like this one a lot. Okay, now a really cool thing you can do, apart from trying this in your compositions, and it really lends itself well to different styles of music too. If you're doing a picking progression, you could play it something like this. Something like that, and that sounds really good if you have a little bit of distortion or whatever. Now, we're going to move on to one other concept, and that is solo guitar performance. So one of the things that these triads really lend themselves to and open up is almost like a piano approach to guitar. In other words, in my case, you got your left hand doing the bass chords and you got your right hand doing the melodies. Well, the same could be true on the guitar in a sense. If I'm going to hammer down these chords, and this is exactly what I'm going to try, I'm going to take the same progression we just had, but instead of actually picking down, I'm actually going to take the fingers and I'm going to hammer on the chord, literally pushing down on those notes, using the same inversions we just did. So for the C, I'd go like this. And then for the F, I do this, D minor, and I'm going to play the G this way. So together in time, it would sound like this. And you can hear how the tone is different too when we hammer on the chord rather than strumming it. It gives a different sound. Okay, now I'm going to add some second part onto this. So I'm going to decorate using the top 3 strings. I'm going to be fingering here, playing different notes using the different fingers. And I'm going to still use the hammer-on technique for the triads in the background. So an example would be like this. And you can hear how that creates the illusion of 2 parts, basically, almost like a left-hand piano and a right-hand lead. One thing I want you guys to try at home is basically to see all the different inversions you can use of any one chord, the C for example, all over the neck, and see useful ways that you can incorporate that not only in your band playing, but also in your solo guitar playing as well. I'm going to just finish off with that intro to the song that uses the different inversion of the C to the D major and back to the C in an interesting way. Thanks again for having me at Guitar World. If you want to come visit and see some of these different musical techniques that you can enhance your playing with, please visit me at jeffgunn.ca.